Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Canadian Shield. My name is Sterling. I'm your host. As many of you are probably aware, Justin Trudeau is down in the United States, Washington, D.C., to be precise, and he's meeting with 32 member states of NATO, of which the United States is one. However, that means that there are at least 30 other countries there represented by various heads of state and members of the military. So you would think that there would be a large press corps. Plus, it's Washington, D.C. If there's anywhere in the world that has more press than Washington, D.C., I would be surprised. Every organization is going to be represented in Washington, D.C. You've seen the room, the press room is packed. Not like Justin Trudeau's room where it's only just CBC, Global, and CTV. However, the point that I'm trying to make has very little to do with the Washington, D.C. and a lot to do with the fact that Justin Trudeau seems to be nothing but a joke down there. Now, we've all seen the clips where he went to the G20 and Trump wouldn't acknowledge him, and the Brazilian prime minister turned his back to him, and the Chinese guy gave him trouble, like gave him crap right there in front of the whole wide world to witness. So many of us will argue that the Pierre Poilievre, who says that Justin Trudeau is a clown on the international stage, is a joke, that he's absolutely correct. So today, Justin Trudeau came into one of these NATO press conferences, and there was only 3 people in the room, there was 4 people in the room. 2 of them were so far back in the room that you would think they would be assistants. One of the other people in the room was the camera person, and there was one person sitting right up front and center, who probably was there to ask questions and wanted to make sure that they got noticed and probably thought to themselves, well, at least now I'm allowed to sit in the front row. Now, I only kept a second of it because I got to make a couple of points. But before I get into it, I would encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this channel with your socials.
Bonjour tout le monde. Le sommet de l'OTAN se termine aujourd'hui ici à Washington. Avec nos alliés, on a passé les derniers jours à travailler ensemble. On a fait beaucoup de progrès. Je veux évidemment remercier le président Biden pour son leadership et les Américains pour leur accueil. Dans un monde incertain, c'est important de se rassembler comme ça pour renforcer nos relations. On top of numerous meetings with NATO allies this week, I had the opportunity to meet with many politicians and business leaders here in D.C., including members of Congress, senators, and governors. In a moment of deep global uncertainty, Canada and the U.S. know that they can count on each other, and that's really important.
So you all saw that, and in case you didn't, I highlighted the 4 people that are in the room. The one in the very front is a little difficult to see, but I assure you that person is there. You can see the cell phone on this person by the CPAC. The one guy is the cameraman, and then, like I said, there was one person sitting right up front who is probably there to ask a question. Then you saw Justin Trudeau look around the room like he was talking to a massive audience. From that, you need to take a couple of things. 1, that he will continue the charade no matter what the situation. 2, the highest concentration of press in one city, the sitting prime minister of the country of Canada, and he can't even get 5 reporters to show up from foreign press. He can't get anybody to show up from the New York State press. He can't get people to show up from Fox. He can't get people to show up from ABC, NBC. He can't get people to show up from any of the 32 member nations that have brought press corps with them. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? He's got one cameraman that's provided by the building. The building put it there. And there's the one camera on the podium that we're looking at from this shot, which if he had been smart, he would have just spoke directly to the camera instead of looking around the room like he's talking to a room full of people and somehow hoping that you won't see the sound, anything but the soundbite. I think it's fair to say that nobody on the international stage respects Justin Trudeau. Apparently, funny socks are not enough. Apparently, standing up in front of a country of 32 people, 32 countries, some of which are in active conflicts, and telling them that the environment is the first thing that they should be worried about, doesn't garner a lot of respect. Here's a man who can't go to a G20 without getting snubbed. Here's a man who stood up in the House of Commons and snubbed the leadership of India. I mean, he didn't even go back channels. He didn't do any of that. He just stood right up and screamed it right out loud. Not only does the world not respect Justin Trudeau, but I don't see why Canadians should be respecting Justin Trudeau, no matter what the bought and paid for press says. I mean, let's understand something. Justin Trudeau is supposed to be representing Canada, which is supposed to be, by all accounts, leading the way on 10 or 12 different issues around the world. No one is here to ask him those tough questions about what he's doing about trade. No one's here to ask him questions about his carbon plan. No one's here to ask him questions about how he's going to solve homelessness. Nobody's here to ask him questions on the immigration issue. Nobody's even here from outside of the 32 countries. It's not like somebody showed up from many of the press that live in India or the Philippines or any of the places that we've signed deals with in the last 6 months. You can't even get people to show up in the room for scandals. We can't get any respect on the stage if the people don't respect our leadership. Now, you can say, well, that's just maybe something because there was something else going on. There wasn't. This is the NATO stage. You can see all the flags. He's about to have, the foreign minister who's in that, and the defense minister. So there you have the prime minister and the defense minister sitting on stage, and nobody came to ask either of them a question, even pertaining to the NATO, to the meeting the reason that they're meeting in the city. I think that we can safely assume that Justin Trudeau is a joke, is a mockery, is embarrassing all of us. And I don't care what side of the spectrum you sit on, whether you be in the center, left, or right. You're not going to get any respect from anybody anywhere on the entire face of the earth if they don't respect the person that's out front. If they don't respect the leadership that is the one, this is the face of the country. He can't even draw 6 people into a room in the highest concentration of media reporters, certainly in the United States, but I dare say on earth. You can't get 5 people to come into a room. And then he went on, this announcement went on. I didn't want to pull the whole thing in. Why bother? It's just the same old stuff. Canada's doing it, leading the way. Canada's, solving the world's problems by putting in a carbon tax. Nobody cares what he has to say. It doesn't matter if if he's absolutely 100% correct, which I don't believe that he is. But let's just say for the sake of argument that he was. Nobody in the world is listening to him. So what difference does it make? And why are we paying for all of these ministers to fly around the world when nobody cares what they have to say? And how, if they're not going to care what he has, how long does it take to rub off on us? Right? Until they say, oh, well, you're just a Canadian. You don't count. Your leader, you voted in Justin Trudeau. I think that we have to agree with many of Justin Trudeau's contemporaries. The man's a joke. He's not taken seriously, despite the fact that nobody wants to hear it. On the international stage, he makes the whole entire country look bad. All right, I'm going to wrap here. I want to thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next time.